What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. Today I have a few guests with me, and we are going to analyze the results from Madison Regionals, which just happened last weekend, and talk about the standard meta moving forward for Cups, and most importantly, the North American Intercontinentals coming up the first weekend of July. So I'll have our guests introduce themselves real quick. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a bit about your history with the game, some recent accomplishments, and where you play. We'll go Jake, Richard, then Ty.
Alright, so I'm from like 40 minutes from Madison, so basically it was like a local regional there for me, which was nice. I stayed at my house the entire weekend.
Nice.
I've only been playing for like this is like the middle of the third year I've been playing, and this is the only time I finished better than top 64 to regional. So,
Cool. Straight from top 64 to top 4, right?
oh yeah, easy.
Go ahead, Richard.
I'm Richard Halsall. This is my second go around playing Pokemon. I was actually one of the day oneers in the way back beginning till about Team Rocket. Got back in Guardians Rising. I play roughly in the Toronto, Ontario, Canada area, and I guess my best finish this year is 66 in Memphis, but I've had a couple of 128s and I've points all but one or two regionals this year.
Cool. Ty?
My name's Ty. I've been playing for like a year as far in June. This is my third regional. I got top 128 at Virginia and then 24th place at Madison. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. And do you all have your invite?
No,
Yes.
Almost.
I'm 18 points away.
Okay. So...
I'm like 7 points.
Okay. So very close.
Yeah.
And Richard, you got yours at Madison?
Yeah, I'm at 406 now.
Nice, nice. Okay, so what deck did you play at Madison, and were there any options that were a close second? Ty?
I played Zoroark. It was either that or the Baby Buzz deck I was gonna play, and I just tend to draw really bad when I play Buzzwole, so I just decided to play Zoroark. And Buzzwole just like isn't that fun to play for me.
Okay. Richard?
I played Zoroark. It's been the deck that's got me through all year, so take it to the dance one more time. I had a second option. It probably would have been Greninja. I expected a lot more Malamar than I ran into, and yeah.
Okay, cool. Jacob?
I played Greninja. If I didn't play Greninja, I was going to play Metagross, and thank God I did not do that.
Cool, cool. Okay, so going into the tournament, what were the decks you expected to play against, and what decks did you end up actually playing against? Richard?
I expected a Malamar, a couple of Buzzwoles, and maybe a few Zoroarks because the hype was there for a lot of Malamar. Overall, I faced one Malamar deck all day, 3 Zoroarks, a Lapras, Hoopa, and 2 Buzzwole.
Okay. Jake, how about you? What decks were you expecting to play against, and what decks did you play against?
So I was expecting to play against a lot of Malamar and Buzzwole, which is why I felt Greninja was good. And I didn't really expect Zoroark to be too big, but I expected to play like once or twice. And throughout both days, I ended up playing against Buzzrock like 7 times. Zoroark, I played it like 5 times, and I only played against two separate Malamar decks. I played against one dude 3 times.
Right, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I think in your interview with Chip on Trainer Chip, he said that, or someone said that you were that person's matchup for like 21.1% of the tournament or something. Like that's how many times you played him or something.
Yeah.
A
lot.
How about you, Ty? What were the decks you expected to play against, and what decks did you play against?
I did not expect as much Buzzwole as there was. I expected a lot of Malamar, but I only played against 3. I played against a lot of Mirror. I won most of them. I played against a Greninja, and I did not expect to see that much Ninja either, because a little bit of Buzzwole hype usually scares it off, but it did very well.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go to Jake for this one. So this tournament was very heavy on Buzzwole, and you made a deep run with Greninja. I've heard people say that Buzzwole is an unfavored matchup now for Greninja. Would you like to speak a bit on the matchup against either classic Buzzrock with the new buffs or the new Baby Buzz variant?
Alright, so historically, Greninja's supposed to have a bad Buzzrock matchup, but that's why I played 2 Max Potion. Because especially that they're more like ability reliant right now and stuff with Diancie and the new Baby Buzz with Regirock also. As soon as you can end them to like anywhere from 1 to 3, basically their odds of hitting strong, if it's like later in the game like it should be once you have your breaks up and everything, the odds of them hitting another strong left are very low. So as soon as you start stitching them, they can never one-shot your breaks late, and you just get the Max Potion and keep your breaks around for way too many turns for them to keep up. So I think like regular Buzzrock, like with heavy GX, is probably like 55-45 in Greninja's favor. It's still really close, but I think it's favored for Greninja actually with Max. As long as you play Max Potion, if you don't, I think you lose.
Okay.
And against the baby Buzzwole version, I think that one's strictly favored for Greninja, like 60-40 or 65-35, just because you can play around Baby Buzz so easily. And it's really, I know they have like 2 GX, but if you're playing Igor's list too, they only play a 1-1 Lycanroc. And that's usually a really, really good attacker in that matchup because they can hit the 130 with 1 strong. And they don't really need like all sorts of other stuff, but they only play 1-1 Lycanrocs and like 3 Baby Buzzwole. So I think you're like super favored in that matchup.
Okay, cool. So hang on, I heard an echo. It threw me off. Sorry. So yeah, moving forward, do you think Max Potion is necessary for Greninja in a Buzzwole format?
I think if you're not playing Max Potion in Greninja, you're playing it wrong.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Cool. Ty, so do you think that Malamar variants were underrepresented at Madison, and that's why Buzzwole saw so much success? Or do you think that Buzzwole versus Malamar is closer than the general population think it is?
I feel like there wasn't that much Malamar. Like, I was expecting a lot more, but the regular Buzzwole takes a pretty, like, 60-40 matchup to it in favor of Malamar. But when you play the 3 Baby Buzz, it's really hard for them to, like, keep one-shotting you. Because usually Malamar tries to just go 2 prize, 2 prize, 2 prize. But now you're throwing down 3 1-prizers and attacking them. So it's really hard.
Cool. Something I always like to think of, it looks like a lot of really great players, like players that we see make top 8 frequently, played Buzzwole. I didn't see a lot of those players names next to Malamar. So, Richard, do you think that has something to do with it, that people like Igor and Pram and Azul went with Buzzwole, and we had a lot of skill on Buzzwole's side, and we didn't see as many named players go with Malamar?
Kind of took the words out of my mouth there.
Okay.
Pretty much, that's kind of how I looked at it. And then there, other top players. There were some playing Ninja. Basically, everyone I think played to kind of counter the counter, and then as well, like the top 16 guys, like you said, they played Buzzwole because they knew that there'd be enough Zoroark out in the field to do their job too, right? And that's kind of how that was kind of reflected in the day 2, where the top 13 were all Buzzwole. Then we had 14, 15 being like a Ninja and Zoroark.
Yeah, so. I think, let me check. So, the most populated deck in Day 2 was Buzzwole Lycanroc, followed by Zoroark Lycanroc. So
yeah, and with the 3 babies, it's an absolute nightmare matchup.
Yeah, it's really, really hard. You have to get, like, turn 2 Claw Slash with a strong energy and just keep chaining that.
Or the people that ran, like, the Latios, you got to get maybe 2 spreads off if you're lucky to even have, like, a chance in that matchup as well.
Yeah, definitely going in unprepared, it's very, very hard. And even after, like, testing the matchup and working on it, it's still rough. So I can definitely see that.
Yeah. Some of the other players, too, were out there running Hoopa, which, again, it's a nice Malamar counter to the field. And then, some were playing Weakness Policy, and some just, they didn't. They got ran over by the Baby Buzz right away.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so do we still think that Malamar's Zoroark Buzz is kind of the triangle like it was going into Madison? Jake.
I think in a sense it's still a triangle. I think Malamar needs to find a nice baby Pokemon to deal with the baby Buzz, and then it'll be back up there. Like baby Dawnwings is decent, but if Malamar can find like a consistent baby Pokemon, I think it stays as the triangle of those decks. I think if more people like Greninja and it was more consistent, I think it would be like in there instead of Malamar. But most people bash it and don't play it, so I think the triangle stays Zoroark, Buzzwole, Malamar.
Cool. And do you think the Malamar is going to be predominantly Psychic or Ultra?
From what I think regular Psychic is way better, but a lot of people like to argue and say Ultra is better because I just don't like it. It just plays like the two different energy counts. It just seems worse consistency wise and Buzzwole matchup wise. It just doesn't seem as good.
It's got the better Zoroark matchup with the Ultra. That's pretty much the big selling point with that.
Okay, so Richard, same question for you. Do you think the triangle stays the same more or less?
As a Zoroark guy, I want to say yes, but I don't know, that triple baby does a big number on that deck, and it actually might be the window that Zoroark needs to actually jump over Zoroark going forward just because of that whole weakness, with Psychic and everything.
And the one prize attacker.
Yeah, pretty much. And then for to answer about Malamar, we can use the Dawnwings promo. Then there's also that promo Mewtwo that they brought out, the one with the...
What is the Dawnwings promo?
It's 130 HP. Its first attack does, if you have 6 prizes left, it does 20 for each damage counter on your Pokemon.
Okay.
Sorry, on your Dawnwings.
Okay.
And then its second attack is 3 Psychic, does 130, and discard 2 energy from it.
Okay, and then you were about to mention the Mewtwo, right?
Yeah, the Mewtwo 120 has the Unnerve ability, and then it does 100 for 3 Psychics, which is, both are good one prize attackers in that deck. But...
Yeah, the Mewtwo's definitely cool. I also saw people mention the Rotom Psychic, 3 Psychic Energy to do 120.
Yeah.
Which is also neat, but I think it's like 70 HP or something.
Yeah, it's the HP is the killer in that one.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
So Ty, same questions for you. Triangle, stay the same or does it change? And which Malamar variant do you think is in there?
I think it stays the same pretty much. But it's more of Buzzwole kind of really beats Zoroark, and Zoroark sometimes beats Malamar. And I haven't really seen there's the 3 baby Buzz list. That's the optimal list. I haven't really seen the optimal Malamar list. There's just a bunch of different ones. Ultra, Malamar, some are playing the Mewtwo GX, some are playing the Clefairy, I think, the Clefairy thing.
Yeah.
And then some are playing Mimikyu, Oranguru, just so many different things. I haven't seen one solid list really.
Yeah, I think that goes back to what we were saying a few minutes ago that I think the top players really ironed out the perfect, or at least for Madison, the perfect Buzzwole list. And I do like Zach from Team Tastes, his Ultra Necrozma list. I think that was pretty ironed out, but I still think we can get better. You know what I'm saying? But I think he finished in top 8, and I think his list is really good for Ultra Necrozma, but I like Psychic Malamar a lot better than Ultra Malamar. Okay, so what do you think so we talked about the triangle, not necessarily if it's a triangle meta or not, but what do you think the top 5 decks on our minds should be for upcoming League Cups and possibly North American Intercontinentals? Richard.
Going forward, we're in a Buzzwole world, right? So, for the top dog, even that Buzzgarb list that Ian Rob played, I'm not a fan of it, but it seems to run really, really smooth. So
yeah,
I gotta
something to
consider
keep on the radar.
Psychic Malamar, like you said, and then for my personal preferences, it's Zoroark and Zoroark going forward, just with some pretty hefty modifications.
Okay, Jake.
So I think number 1 should definitely be Buzzrock, but the baby version. After that, I don't really have a real order for it, but Zoroark you should be looking out for. Malamar, Greninja, and some sort of Garb deck.
Okay. Ty, how about you?
First, obviously Baby Buzz, then probably Psychic Malamar, Zoroark, Greninja, and the Buzzwole Garb deck. I think that deck's really good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I agree that a Garb variant could be really, really oppressive. I just don't know if Buzz Garb is the way to do it. Buzz Garb has just never felt right to me in the past, so it might be a personal preference. And Zoro Garb does feel like the clunkiest of Zoro decks, but it might be what you need to play Zoroark right now. So, I think we've all kind of touched on this a bit, and Ty said it, that Buzzwole is really favored against Zoro, but then Zoroark is only, it's kind of favored versus Malamar. And then, okay, Richard, go ahead.
I feel against Psychic, you're heavily favored, even with the Marshadow tech and everything. It's only when you're facing Ultra Necrozma does the match kind of go maybe 55-45 towards Zoroark.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's the Psychic version, which is the, to me, the best Buzz counter, it's I still think it's pretty one-sided unless you absolutely brick or something as a Zoroark player.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. At my League Cup this past weekend, my Ultra Necrozma opponents weren't drawing the best, but also in testing it, like Psychic Malamar seems pretty free, as long as you play Bridget on turn. If you play Bridget on turn 1, I feel like it's over. Like you got the matchup.
My only loss was to a Malamar, and I didn't Bridget all 3 games.
Yeah, that's how it happens. So Buzzwole is the #1 oppressive deck right now. We might see that change for Intercomp, but I think we'll have to see the other decks change to make that happen. So, Ty, what are your changes for Zoroark to beat this new Buzzwole deck?
Probably second Mewtwo.
Okay.
If I'm playing that, maybe play a Latios. I was thinking of playing a Sudowoodo and a Counter Energy or a Shaman, just so you can deal with Lycanroc, and they like Sledgehammer you for 2 prizes, and you can just like Counter Energy Sudowoodo, Sledgehammer back.
Okay.
And then also put in a Giratina for Greninja.
Giratina into Zoroark?
Yeah.
That's just mean.
Richard, how about you?
Even with the Tina, the match isn't guaranteed, so that's it's a wasted spot. But,
yeah, I wouldn't play Tina and Zoroark.
Yeah, I like the counter idea. It's there. I ran the Baby Buzz in my list in Madison, and the card was insane. So I see where the Buzz guys are coming from. If I could, maybe squeeze Latios in, and I'd keep the Mew EX. It's still too valuable, even though it's pretty much like a sacrifice now. I try to run like a 1-1-1 line, but that kind of that's a lot of 1-0s in the deck. But as of right now, so that's my first idea. Parallel City still does work on that deck. Like you guys were saying earlier, the deck becomes so much more ability reliant later in the game that it gets with
Buzzwole,
Diancie, Regirock, Octillery, everything there. Parallel, you can catch your opponent, lock them down, and then for like, that's kind of simple enough. The Necrozma match is going to be the same. You're not really cutting too much. Maybe like the Enhanced Hammer, you just deal with Beast Energy as is in the Strongs now. Maybe that's your Latios spot in the deck list. It depends how you played the deck to begin with. But
so that's actually something I wanted to talk about. Myself, I cut Enhanced Hammer from my Zoroark, and I've seen other people cut it too because we were going into a format where we expected a lot of Malamar, where in regular Malamar there's no special energy, in Ultra Malamar there's 1. And then Buzzrock, which they do have special energy, but they aren't as reliant on it like DCE decks are. I have been considering throwing Enhanced Hammers back into some of my decks to get rid of the strong energies and for the occasional Zoro matchup that we have. Jake, what do you think about Enhanced Hammer in the current meta?
I think Enhanced Hammer is one of the better cards that you could tech in right now as like even like a 1-of in like Zoroark decks, because you have puzzles to get it back, because it can slow down Buzzwole even though it's still a really hard matchup, And if you find yourself against a Greninja, sometimes having that E-Hammer to get rid of a splash is really good. In the mirror match, it's insane if your opponent's forced to play a strong onto their Rock Ruff, and you can just straight up Enhanced Hammer that away and still get your like basic energy attachment down. Even if you're going second, it basically puts you the turn ahead anyway. And that's why I put 2 Enhanced Hammer in my Greninja list, just because the card is just really, really good right now in the format.
I have to go back and look at your list because I don't know how you fit 2 Enhanced Hammer and 2 Max Potion.
No Fee, no Espeon.
Oh, no Espeon, okay. So, yeah, my Zoroark list, I was currently playing 4 strong and 1 basic instead of what Pablo Mesa from Tablemon posted from, I believe it was one of the Mexico League Cups. Like, following the special events, he played 3 basic and 2 strong. And the night before the cup, I was like, no one's playing Enhanced Hammer, so why shouldn't I just get as much value out of these energies as I can? And I also saw a lot of other people's lists. Some of the New York players, I believe Edwin Lopez was playing 4 DCE and 4 strong energy in his list. So they kind of thought the same thing. I'm not too worried about the mirror match, but Enhanced Hammers, I think Enhanced Hammers will come back a bit. Does anyone disagree that Enhanced Hammer is a good card to have around in this meta? No? Okay.
I was happy I had it in Madison, that was for sure. But
Against which decks?
Mirror.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Parallel City? Because those 2 cards are, like, Enhanced Hammer and Parallel City are cards I see come and go in popularity. Are we still all on that Parallel City is a busted stadium to have around?
Yes.
Okay. Especially, like, I think you all mentioned it as well, that it's a lot better against the new Buzzrock than it was against Buzzrock before. Because now they're playing Diancie, sometimes Diancie and Regirock. And just Diancie itself, it's just an extra bench space that they really don't want to lose, because once it's gone, they can't super rot it back as well. Yeah. So, we're talking about Buzz a lot. Is the Baby Buzzwole variant the best way to play Buzz? The 3 Baby Buzzes. Jake?
Yeah.
Okay.
It has the best overall matchup spread by far, and it's why it won the regional. I mean, Igor was the one running it, and Pram was running a similar version. 2 of like the better players right now by far, but it's definitely the better version.
Okay. Anyone disagree? Okay.
I disagree, but it could have run a 4th. I think a 4th Baby going forward actually is pretty optimal in that.
I was going to say that. I was watching. Excuse me. I was watching Azul on Twitch yesterday, I think, and he said that he mentioned that to Igor, and they agreed that 4th Baby Buzz is probably good. I just don't like having the 1/1 Lycanroc line.
I don't either.
Both those 1/1 lines were suicide, man. Like I'm impressed he made it that far.
Yeah, I definitely play a 2/1 Lycanroc for sure.
That's what I'm playing. Pram's list right now and testing, because he's playing 2/1. He was playing 2/1 at Madison.
Of both, wasn't it, or was it just Lycanroc on his list?
You mean Octillery and Lycanroc?
Yeah, were they both 2/1?
I think Octillery's 2/2.
Is it a 2/2? Actually, that makes sense. Yeah, makes sense.
I feel like I should know this because I played against him, but I wasn't really paying attention. I was just too worried about not losing.
We're just sitting there saying Shadow Stitching and praying, right?
Yeah, he played 2/2
3
Octillery. 2/2 Octillery and 2/1 Lycanroc.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I like that a lot better.
Yeah, but Igor did have the extra Max Elixir and something else in its place. And cutting something for the 4th Baby Buzz just seems rough, because the deck, I feel like the deck used to have a lot of wiggle room, and now we just have so many great tools for it. It's hard deciding what you want.
Igor played the Regirock.
That's right.
Brandon. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, yeah. And then, like, Azul just cut a basic energy because they had 10 for the 4th Baby, and, with 3 elixirs, that fits pretty good still.
Mm-hmm. So. What about Lapras? Is anyone here a fan of Lapras?
I was until I played 3 games with it.
Okay, tell me about it.
I tried to play it against Buzzwole because it should, in theory, have a pretty decent Buzzwole matchup because you can hit 190 with Aqua Patch, Elixir, and Choice Bands and stuff.
Right.
And you have Fear Tree, Manaphy to get out of it, but now that Baby Buzz is so good, and even in general, I played like 5 or 6 games against Buzzball trying to see if it was actually worth it, and I got dumpstered every time. It's just, it seems like it should be consistent. It's just not.
Okay. Ty, any opinions on Lapras?
I think the Volcanion is sweet. That's
It's
about
really
it.
cool.
Yeah, that card's pretty mid.
Yeah. Richard, any differing opinions?
I faced one in round 8, and game 1 and 2 getting Blizzard kind of sucked, though I pulled it out. And then I just think with the Baby Buzzes in the meta now with that whole deck, it's too much for that Lapras deck because they rely on taking 3 straight turns of 2 prizes, right? So,
Yeah, they weren't planning for the 3 Baby Buzz.
No.
nah, nobody was.
Yeah. Let me see what else is here. So, Malamar Necrozma, how are we... First of all, does anyone think that it's not favored for Psychic Malamar? We all agree that it's favored Psychic Malamar versus Buzz? Okay.
I still think it's favored with the baby coming in still. It just makes the piloting of it a little bit more awkward, I think.
Okay. I do think to keep it as favored as it was versus Classic Buzz, though we do need 1 prize attackers that are efficient. What are your favorite 1 prize attackers to try out in Malamar, or that you've tested already? Ty?
Giratina promo for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That can knock out a Buzzwole. I think that Mewtwo promo is pretty cool. Its like ability is like minus 20 damage
From attacks, right?
Yeah. What else? Play Oranguru just for the draw, and you can also use the attack. I tried Mimikyu. I didn't really like it. I found myself just like always wanting to use a GX attack with it.
Yeah.
And I used it. Mew seems okay, but I'd rather just like have space for other stuff. So probably just Giratina. Yeah.
Okay. Richard?
I don't think it's more the attackers. I think maybe they can try Fury Belt out as an overchoice ban just to kind of beef up their big boys. I like the Mewtwo. I'll probably give the Donwings a try. I'm not a big fan of the deck. I think I've tried it 3 games, and it was just like I set up once and I bricked twice, and it's one of those, all right, to the pit you go. Okay.
I actually really enjoy playing the deck. It's been running super smooth for me. Maybe just different lists or different luck. How about you, Jake?
I don't know. I didn't really touch anything besides Greninja for like 15 games going into Madison.
Okay.
But I haven't really. I played like 1 test hand of Malamar and it went poorly, so I kind of just set the deck down. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna stick to Greninja.
Looking at the list from an outsider's perspective, you're not playing Buzz or Malamar. What do you think in theory would help the Malamar, even though you haven't really tested with it?
So like two of some sort of baby attacker, like the Mewtwo or the Dawnwings. Just not one, because you could still prize it, or you can just not be able to get it back when you need it. But some sort of 2 of baby attacker, so you have some way to deal with Baby Buzz efficiently.
Okay. So Mew FCO was already in some lists, but that just doesn't feel enough for me because it's 50 HP. So Diancie and a Baby Buzz with a basic energy, they're just knocking it back out.
Yep.
And you're not even having a chance at getting ahead on the prize tree at that point. Richard, the Fighting Fury Belt sounds interesting because essentially your Dawnwings has 200 HP. Like, they have to hit 200 to knock it out because of the fighting resistance. So with a belt, they would
220 with the belt. Yeah, you got to.
They would have to knock. They would have to hit 240 with the belt because of resistance.
Exactly.
And they play no Field Blower at the moment. That's actually something interesting that I wanted to touch on, and I forgot to write down. The Field Blower in Buzzrock. Do you think some Buzzrocks are going to add 1 Field Blower to catch people off guard trying to combat it with Fighting Fury Belt or with Garbodor? Jake?
Maybe. I don't think it's a good idea because it just kind of takes away from other cards that are just better in the deck for overall consistency.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's cute to play a 1 of, but I don't think they will.
Ty?
I think Fury Belt's really annoying for the deck, especially if you do with the Mewtwo promo. You essentially have like a 180 HP Mewtwo. and it's a one prizer, and they're wasting like a Knuckle Impact.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Buzzgarb deck, they can, like, unless they have 3 strongs or something, they're not one-shotting your Buzzwole, and they have no way to get rid of the belt. So it's pretty annoying for the deck. I could see somebody playing a Field Blower, but I'd rather just keep open space for other stuff.
Okay. How about you, Richard? Any differing opinions?
Maybe if someone's trying like a turbo buzz with the babies and just Buzzwole, and you take out the Lycanroc line, or you cut an Elixir, because that deck's already incredibly tight for space as is. So I see it happening. It's just going to be what's the count, what's going to get cut. You know, it's going to be a small thing like that, and certain players might be able to play around it if they pick that up right away. But...
yeah. I think there's definitely a lot of times where I want to see a Field Blower in Buzzrock, like while I'm playing it, but also it's a very streamlined, aggressive deck, and you want to just be going through your cards and hitting energy, really. And Field Blower just doesn't seem like the best addition for an aggressive deck like that. Lapras decks were playing one Field Blower, but I think Manaphy is a huge part of their strategy. Like, you need it to retreat and then attack again. While Deancey and Regirock are really good for Buzz, it's not pertinent to their strategy working, you know? So, is anyone a fan of Zoropod right now?
I think it's okay.
No Zoropod love?
No.
Okay. Do you...
the baby buzzes is too much for that deck.
Yeah.
It does swing the matchup.
So, initially I was thinking, okay, we'll switch from Zoroark to Zoropod because Zoropod has a better matchup versus Buzz, because you have an efficient 1-energy attacker versus Lycanroc, but they cut back on the Lycanroc. It's not as much of their game plan anymore. And then I also realized First Impression hits 120 on a 130 HP one prizer that they play 3 or 4 of, and that felt terrible. At least with Zoroark, you can sometimes hit the turn 2 Claw Slash for 130 and start running through Baby Buzzes. With Zoropod, that's never an option. Any other Zoro variants? We touched on Zorogarb a bit. Richard, did you want to talk about how you would play that? Or
on the Zorogarb, I'd have to do the matchup. Like, it's just all theory right now.
Okay.
But you got so many prizers with Garbodor now. It's almost too, like, with the speed of that deck, how much does Garbotoxin, like the Garbotoxin ability one, really help you? Should you just go like straight aggro with Trashalanche and just try to, you know, just streamline them, or do you think about the meta enough to where maybe you have to worry about Malamar, you have to worry about, you know, keeping that card in your deck? Because if not, you maybe have to thicken your Trubbish line. You got to go there. Maybe just play straight Psychics. Don't really worry about the Kartana tech. You have a lot of questions with that deck as well. It's just, in theory, it might be the one deck that can keep pace with it right now.
Okay. Ty, any opinions or thoughts about Zorogarb?
I feel like it's kind of inconsistent, and there's that controversy, balloons or float stones. It's like, I don't know. I don't really like the deck. It seems kind of clunky to me. And you have to, like, get Bridget, or else you're kind of screwed, because you need Trubbishes on board turn 1.
Jake?
Yeah, I put in like 15 games with the deck and stuff because I really wanted it to work. It seemed like a great call and stuff, but I don't know, if you miss Bridget, you're just gonna probably end up losing that game just because it's way more Bridget reliant than a lot of the other Zoroark decks. 'Cause if you get down like 2 Zoruas and like a Rockruff with like a Cynthia or whatever at first turn, that's still okay. You can live with that. But if you get down like a Zorua and a Trubbish, or like 2 Trubbishes and a Zorua, and that Zorua dies to like some sort of Jet Punch, you're like, and unless you draw really high, you're basically out of the game.
Yeah, your Garb can't
really
like one carry through early game.
Yeah, there was one Zorogarb in day 2 and it got 33rd, so that's how I think that deck is.
Okay. Yeah, there are different variants. Frank Diaz played the 3-3 Zoroark and 3-3 Garb and got second at Toronto.
Don't forget that Drampa Spice.
And the Drampa and the Kartana. And that it's just the kind of deck that I try every month, and then I realize why I wasn't playing it the month before. Like I'll build it like with like 4 cards changed from the previous list, and think it's going to be better. Like it does look really great on paper. It's really appealing on paper. Yep. Like the Zoroark deck that has psychic attackers, so you don't lose the buzz, but
yeah,
it doesn't work out like that. How about Zoroark B-string decks? Any testing with those? No. Zoroark Buzz, Zoroark Dawnwings.
Sounds kind of cool.
I've theoried it with like the metal, the Dustmane, but that's about it.
Okay. I believe we covered all of the decks that were in day 2. Are there any decks that you have on your mind that we did not cover?
I guess we didn't talk a lot about the Buzzgarb deck that came top 4. Yeah. We just kind of mentioned it in passing, and that's about it.
Okay. Did anyone play against Buzzgarb at the tournament?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay. Who would like to talk about it? Richard, do you want to talk about it a bit?
When I looked at the list at first and heard there's only 7 basics, I was kind of skeptical of the list. But then, even though it's got the Buzzwole spread and everything, it's kind of built like a genetic Garbodor deck where it's a comeback deck right away, where you kind of hang around, spread damage, play Fury Bells to get those annoying knockouts. We talked about Buzzwole, and then you drop the Garbotox and you B-string all on the same turn. And the list that Ian ran, I know there are a couple others. I'm sorry I forget their names. The list looks really smooth. I'm not a fan of it because I think in a way that if the player who faces it plays it right as a Zoroark player, for example, you can trap that deck under Parallel City really fast with get 2 Trebushes out, get a Lycanroc out, get 1 out, parallel them, force that, and then you just play around with their Garbotoxin. And then I think the reason I had a lot of success day 2 was it had a really good Buzzrock matchup. And if you've seen it, I think it was the top 2 guys, Igor and the other guy who finished second.
Will?
I think those were Will. That's it. Sorry. Yeah, I think those were the 2 losses for Ian that day, and it's because they both piloted the matchup really well in their own ways. Like I know Will emphasized Lycanroc a lot in the match, which is huge because you could see as the match went on, that's kind of who Ian started keying in on more with the Rockruffs and Lycanroc, as opposed to Igor, where he just set up damage absolutely perfect. I think that deck going forward is really strong. It's just, are they going to add more babies to their deck? Because they ran that 4-1 with the Buzzwole and Baby together. So, and plus I'm not a big fan of Order Pad at all. I know it's, it's great on stream to laugh at, and I know it's a coin flip play. And it's a do or die play. It's a high risk run, but
yeah.
But overall, the creativity was really nice on the deck. I liked it.
Yeah, it was definitely a cool list. It has a really linear game plan, which is its problem, I think, against, like you were saying, Igor played it perfectly. He knew everything the deck had to offer, pretty much, so he could just set up damage and know he had a win waiting for him at the end of the game. It was a linear game plan, whereas the Baby Buzz, it has much more options. It has the Baby Buzz, it has the Buzzwole, it has the Lycanroc, it has additional damage with strong Beast, Diancie, Regirock, and Buzzgarb is kind of just Buzzwole Garb. When you get the B-string turn, they play B-string.
Yeah, pretty much.
Any differing opinions?
I thought the Order Pad engine was really cool, but again, it's a flip card, and those are never reliable.
Yeah. When Forbidden Light came out, I put Order Pads in my Duskmane deck, because I figured if Duskmane is my entire game plan, I better hit these B-strings when it's B-string turn. So I think that was the plan there as well. The only deck we didn't talk about on my list is Vikabulu. Does that have any place in the current standard format?
No.
No.
Okay.
I wish.
Okay, so Vikabulu's dead. Alright, before our closing thoughts, what is your top play for League Cups? And if you aren't playing any League Cups, just humor me and tell me what it would be. Jake?
Greninja, by far. I'm bringing that to everything. Everyone told me they're putting Tina promo in for me. I told them I didn't care and bring Greninja anyway.
Richard?
Zorark Trevenant.
Zorark Trevenant. Oh, you got your invite, right?
Exactly.
Okay, if you needed a League Cup win to get your invite, and you weren't going to Intercont, what would your play be for League Cups?
Probably Buzzwole or Roll Zorark.
I'm sorry, you lagged on the last part. I got Buzzwole.
Zorark.
Zorark. Ty, how about you?
Zorark, maybe Zorark Lucario, Buzzwole, or if you don't want points, play Zoroeggs.
Okay. Actually, we were going to do closing thoughts, but then you said Zorark Lucario. I have a soft spot for that. Have you tested that at all?
A little bit. In theory, it's kind of good because you have Diancie, strong choice. You're hitting 190, Kukui 210. But it's one of those combo decks. You need the Evo Soda, you need the strong, the choice, the whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
It needs a lot.
Yeah, I dedicated a lot of time to the deck for Forbidden Light testing, and it was my top deck going into this meta before Psychic Malamar became the more popular variant. When everyone was saying, "Oh, play Ultra Necrozma," I was super comfortable with Zoro Lucario, but then Moon's Eclipse GX unbuffed, knocking out your main attacker, feels terrible. It feels really bad.
Yeah.
Any other opinions on Zoro Lucario?
I had a friend that played it at Madison. He started out 2-0, and he ended up dropping like 3 rounds later.
Oh, man. Yeah, it is a combo deck,
Jesus.
and it feels bad against Dawn Wings Necrozma for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Alright, well, thank you guys for being on the video. I'll let you do your shout-outs now. And, yeah, I think we covered everything. Thank you guys for being here. Jake, go ahead.
I don't really got much to shout out, I guess. I want to say thanks to Jimmy Ballard for running a great Madison Regionals again. His events are like the most fun to go to, in my opinion. He's just got that personality that's like really cool to have a person running an event because he'll just talk on the microphone and say whatever he wants, and I like that about him. And then Deadraw had a pretty good stream, had a really nice stream going. I rewatched when I was on there for top 8, and I thought the commentators they picked were really well, and I think the stream as a whole was run pretty nice.
Yeah, it was. I'll shout them out too. Deadraw did a really great job. Richard?
Shout out to my boys on Team Drampa Free. Shout out to Jimmy. He ran a great tournament. He ran a great job in Memphis as well. Both his tournaments I've gone to this year have been phenomenal. To the Deadraw Gaming guys, it was a really great stream. I watched it back after. My boys there, Kirk, Jeff, Russ, to Travis, you guys all did a great job on commentary. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys.
Cool. Ty?
I thought DDD did a really good job of the stream. Very good quality. Follow me on Twitter. It's like just my name.
Cool. Cool. Guys, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more meta discussion like this in the future, and check out flipsidegaming.com and use my coupon code CELIO, all caps, for 10% off of your order. And I will see you next time here on Celio's Network.